Okay, so welcome guys to the next Blender tutorial. So today we're going to be making a box of pens. So this particular tutorial is pretty easy to do. It's just a lot of duplication at the end of the day. My keyboard is not flat for some reason. Oh, there we go. Right, okay. So we're basically going to be making these, which are little pens, if you guys can see that. If I actually make myself larger, maybe you guys can see me. There we go. So yeah, these are the pens that we're going to be making. I'm not going to show the brand, but we're going to be making something along the kin of this. So if I just take myself down just a little bit, boop, boop, boop. We can sit me right there. I can look all pretty. Ooh. So we're going to be working on just making these pens, really. So we're going to start off with a default cube, and we might be doing some beveling as well, just to kind of bring these pens in a little bit. Also, these pens have nibs, so if you want to make the nibs for the pens, you can go ahead and do that as well. If you just want a box of pens, you don't have to make the nibs. Less rendering, less building time, I guess. But totally. Right, so I'm not going to copy the design directly, because obviously I may get into some trouble for that, but we're going to make a version of this pen. So, to begin with, we'll start with the default cube. You're not going to need your light at the moment. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the camera as well. And also, let's put on these screencasting keys, because I keep forgetting. So, right, for this one, we are going to go sideways with this project. So, if you just take your default cube and just roll it just sideways, just as is. Just going to take the base of this pen off just to see what we're doing. Right, let's go to edit mode. So each side is different. We've kind of got this thicker and thinner side. You can have any side that you would like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by going with E-fret extrude. E-fret extrude. We're going to go and just extrude this in just ever so slightly and just bring it back. So we've got that nice little catch for the lid. We're going to go E-fret extrude again. Just scale it down just slightly. E-fret extrude, leave it where it is. Scale it outwards just slightly, so this is going to be the second catch. Just press G to go forward slightly. And then we're going to go E-fret extrude. I think I made that a little bit too big on that side, but we can always edit that one. So we go Z, and then we can go S for scale, just edit it down just ever so slightly. E-fret extrude, and then what we're going to do is go from this part, scale it down again, and then E-fret extrude, and then scale down into this nice little point. So at this point, this starts actually to round off a little bit. So what we can do, we can edit the vertices in the end, just to make it a little bit more round. And what we're going to do, just go E-fret extrude, bring it out to the front, and then E-fret extrude, and then what we can do, just scale it in just here, and then E-fret extrude straight back. So this is where the nib's going to sit. So if we take these two parts right here, and we just go shade and just pull them out a little bit, because it is square, but it's quite almost hexagon as well. So if we can pull out that side, let's go with, I'm just going to go scale sideways, maybe 1. Okay, let's go 10. Okay, no. Let's just experiment with this for 1 second. 2, 1. Let's go 1.5. Let's see how that works. No, maybe not 1.5. Maybe 1.2. 1.2 is pretty good. So when you do this side as well, just Control R with that. And then we're going to go scale upwards. And then we're going to go, I think it was 1.2 we worked on. So yeah, 1.2 right there. So that will be the exact same size all the way around for this pen. So once we get to the nib of the pen, we can put a nib in the middle of this. Now this is where you're going to have to pay attention to detail if you're making any animations or anything like that, because if you take one pen and you make it a certain colour, a certain shade or whatever it is, you're going to have to do it to the outside of the pen as well. So say if you had a blue pen, you're going to have to make the nib blue, and you have to make the lid blue, and yeah, everything else is going to have to be blue as well. So that's something that you need to consider whilst making these as well. If you're going to make a pack of them, they all have to be different shades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a series of pens, I think, and then we'll make the lids, and then we'll put the lids on the pens. So we're going to take this side as well, You just want to do the exact same that you just did. So for this side, if I just go and split this for you guys, so you guys can see what's going on. So we can see the splits that we need right there. And then we just need to make sure that we've got the same kind of splits coming onto this side as well. So I'm just going to shift that out of the way. So we go E for extrude, scale it inwards just slightly. You can make this as big as you want, small as you want, because this is the other side of the pen. It could be the thick side, the small side, the fine detail, whatever it might be for you. I'm just going to go ahead and just scale that inwards. It doesn't have to be exact, but if you wanted exact, you can do. Let's go here. Just going to go E for extrude, scale outwards, E for extrude. This one's a little bit too big again. I always do these too big. If they are too big, just press the toggle X-ray just right there, and then just grab this and just scale it inwards to where you need it. Maybe just pull that back just a little bit. Just take this X-ray mode off and just grab these faces again. Okay, so we're going to go E for extrude, scale it downwards, and then we can go E for extrude on the end, and then right at the end when we do this we can go E for extrude, scale it inwards slightly, and then E for extrude, pull it back. So this is where the nib's going to sit. So we now have this very nice little pen going on. So let's shade this smooth. We're going to go edit mode. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this just for 1 second whilst I just show you this part. So this part right here, if we go to edit mode, we can see that we've got all these lines across. These are our little sections that we've got. So what we want to do is, I'm just going to half this and then quarter it. I'm going to half it again, half it again. Oops, I think that one moved. Yeah, let's get that in there. So, just to get it at the right size, you're going to want to put little stripes across the edges just to kind of indicate what colour it is. So I don't think there's anything more frustrating as picking up pens out of a box and not knowing what colour you're picking up. So let's go all the way around the edge right here. Oops. Okay, turn that upside down. Alright, so to do the different tones, the different materials, colours, whatever you want to call it, we can go to this tab right here. So material will always be your base. So if we type in base for that one, we can make this slightly metallic, so we've got this nice little plastic look. If you're not already, change your render engine to cycles from Eevee. Your render engine is just up here. So once we've got this, you can see there's no light in here. So if we go to object mode, we can add, let's see, we'll add a little point. Or maybe change that to a sun actually. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to grade this down just a little bit. Actually, no. Oh, that's really weird. It's gone to 10. So once we've got this, I'm just going to add a mesh, a plane as well. Just so we can see some of that shade coming through. Alright, so if we go back onto the pen, go to the edit mode, we still have these two faces selected right here. So we're going to go plus, and we're going to go assign, new, and this one will be the edging colour. Now, with these pens, what you'll realise is that you've kind of got, if you guys can see that, it's like a pink, but then the nib is slightly darker. So when you're doing your different tones and stuff like that, you want to put the nibs as being slightly darker because it's going to be a different material as well. It just basically, it gives the impression that they are, they're different materials. So one's plastic, obviously one's plastic, and then one's kind of like a felt material that you're going to be using. So you need to put that colour differentiation in there and maybe some tones as well. So making the edging colour right here, we can assign this, make sure it's assigned, and then we can change this to green, change this to blue, pink, go red. Let's go with green for this one. So I'm going to make this a green. Let's turn up the metallic just slightly, because this is a plastic that we're working with. You want to try and match the plastic on this side with the plastic on the green as well. So we go to object mode just there. We can see that we've got this nice little shiny plastic. What I'm going to do is go to the edit mode. I'm just going to go 1 for the moment. And I'm just going to take these faces right here and these faces right here. Let's go into the X-ray mode actually, that would be better. Right, so we got these faces right here. We're going to go plus, and this will be the pen end. And we're going to go with a nice grey for this one, just to kind of offset it a little bit. And then just turn up the metallic just slightly. So we've got a different designed pen from what we're actually making, because I don't want to end up in a difficult situation with a company, you know. So let's go with add as well. Yeah, I do like to make everyday objects, but sometimes, like I'm reminded, you can't make everyday objects. Sometimes you have to make variations of them, because otherwise companies will get a little bit annoyed with you over the pens or over whatever you've made, you know. So let's do the nib right here. So I'm just going to shade this smooth, and then we're going to go edit. Take this face right here, just at the end, E for extrude, and then I'm just going to rotate this just ever so slightly, and then just kind of pull it in just a little bit, so you've got that nice little angle on the end of it, just right there. And then this, as I said before, needs to be a different colour from the rest of them. So we have this nice little edging colour, which is green. We're going to go new with this one, and we'll do a little bit of a darker green on this. So then we can take this, and then we can place this at the opposite side. Just Shift D. Oops. Sorry, I am blocking the blooming thing there. I didn't realise I'd be doing that. So we're going to rotate this 180. And then press G, and then just bring it back to where this one needs to be. Now, if you wanted this one to be an elongated one, just take the end and then make it longer. So if we take this one and we go edit mode. Oh, wow. Police cars have just zoomed down the road. So this one is a little bit thicker, just right there. Just at the end. Yeah, this street is super interesting that I live on, because we recently had an electric car fire. Yeah, so I left there. That sounds like it's outside. It's not, it's just a van passing. But we recently had an electric car fire here, and it was super sunny. We're having a bit of a drought at the moment. If you guys are on my other YouTube channel, which is Trailblazer Adventures, I think the video has been uploaded now. I go down to the reservoir, and the reservoir is usually right up against the trees, and the reservoir was in the middle, so we've had a huge drought. I'm just going to make the lid real quick here and now, continue my story. So just select your cube, and then, oops, don't press H, press G, and then move it across. But I went to the reservoir, and there was nothing there. There was just, it was kind of like just a huge puddle in the middle. And they're having a little bit of a problem with rainfall at the moment. I press E for extrude, scale it in, and then just scale in the inside of the lid, just as such. But yeah, they're having this huge problem with rainfall. And someone left their electric car out. I think we were 1.2 on the scale, so scale, and then 1.2, yeah, and then 1.2 on the other side. But yeah, as regards to this car, he left it out in the hot sun, and incidentally, I think it was a Tesla. It just went up in flames because it's just been super hot. Sorry, I'm just trying to like get that story out and do this. But yeah, it's been super hot. Yeah, it's been a pain in the backside because we have a pool. We don't have a full pool, but we have like a kind of bubble, kind of inflatable thing. We can't use it because there's no water. There's water shortage. So it's like, yeah, we get that we can't use it, and we understand that, and we've not used it. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So as in regards to this project, we've got our little lid right there. You can make this a lot shorter if you want to. Yeah, remember 1.2 on each side when you're scaling out. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring this back a little bit. I think it's too big. And I'm just going to scale it inwards a little bit. Just give it that little bevel. You know what? I'm going to pull it in on this side actually. So if we go G, just pull it inwards. And then E fret extrude, leave it where it is. Scale inwards, and then E fret extrude again and bring it back to that part just there. And then these inner faces right here that we can see, we can just bring these back. Just try and aim for the dots if you use an X-ray to do this with. This should be in the middle. But yeah, the summer's been super warm. So that's the reason why, excuse me, why the Tesla, or whatever it was, the electric car, I'm presuming it was a Tesla, because it's usually a Tesla, around this part, right, like around here, burst into flames because it got too hot. So if we take this lid right here and we put a little bit of colour on there, so if we go Control R, let's go on the outside. If I just take off the X-ray mode, we should get that. Then we can put that on there. We can go object mode. Oh, sorry. Edit mode. We're going to need to put the original colours back on this one. You could actually go side view, X-ray, and then take all of these. And I mean, you might select the one on the inside, but it should be fine. You're not really going to see that. So if we go to the drop down menu here rather than pressing new, we can go edging. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. I did that wrong. Right. So we've got the object here. We're working with a new object. We press plus. My gosh, my blooming mouse is going for a walk. Here we go. Right. So this is the base color. This is base. If we press plus, then we go down to the drop down menu to edging color and assign. That's how we do it. Right. So once we've got this design of pen, we're going to go Shift D, move this to the other side, rotate this 180, and then make sure that it sits and fits on the other end. If you can't see what you're doing with that and it's too far over, as you can see, you can just use the X-ray mode, and then you can see where the edging of the pen is, just as such. So now we have this nice little pen that we have. You could put some writing on the edge of here as well if you wanted to. So if you want to do that, just add text, and it will come out like this. So it's always laid down. So if you go to the edit mode, you can just about see the text. So if you just take that back, and then you go Becky's pen for my one. And then press G, just bring it up. Put it just about central. And then what you can do is go to the text right here, which is the data kind of thing. Go to geometry. You can do an extrude. So now you've got this written on the side of the pen. Go to your materials tab. And then go to black, just there. Yeah, so if you want to look directly up as well, press 7. I will say 7 to heaven. Looking down. You can place it just about there. So now we've got this nice little design going on with the pen. We can also do some other designs. So what I can do is I can take this entire pen. So I'm just going to get rid of the back just right here. The slide thing, I'm just going to move it up so we can see what's going on. So if we take all of the pen right here, so if we just select everything, you'll notice the light gets selected as well. Just double click that so that you can lose that. So if we press Shift D, move this across. And then press Shift D again, move this across. Shift D, move this across. Keep going. Oh, sugar. You can also place on there what colour it is. So usually like they name colours like a really weird thing. So it's like you could have a deep royal blue and they'll call it like moonlight sunshine or something like that, you know. Like, oh, okay, you know. So we've got all these pens right now. So I'm just going to go 7 to heaven. So we have all these pens, they're all green, and we want to change them to different colours. So the way that we change them to different colours, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these lids either side, and you want to do one row at a time. So we're going to leave the top one as green. Take all of these, and we're just going to press G and move them across. Oops. Just press G, move them across. And then we're going to do the same to this side as well. And press G and move them across. Oops, we've missed one again. G, move them across. There we go. So what we can do now is if we go for the materials tab just here. Sorry, 1 second, I got a knock at the door.